Hey guys. Hey guys. Hi guys. I wanted to put multiple words into one because I'm so excited for today's conversation. I'm going to give it just a couple of minutes for you guys to hop on live before we start diving into our conversation. So let's go ahead and get it going. Welcome to the Heat Press for Profit podcast, your go-to resource for everything related to apparel decoration business success. Join us as we dive deep into dynamic world of heat printing, exploring lucrative business strategies, insider tips, and cutting-edge straight from the heart of the art and apparel decoration community. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, this podcast was designed to provide invaluable insights, how-to perspectives, and inspiring stories from industry experts and apparel decorators just like you, helping to unlock the full potential of your apparel decoration venture. You guys, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the show where we launch a new episode every week. I'm so excited. Can you tell? If you're tuning in live, you know to pop your name, your business, and where you're tuning in from in the comments. And I will say it time and time again. If you have any questions for myself or our guest, make sure you put those in the comments as well. It's always great to be interactive, even though we are live, and this will be pushed to our podcast platform later. You guys, I'm so excited. Okay. Our guest next to me today is Dani Simpson. She is the creator and owner of The Arts of Dani. And I want to start today's off just a little different. Always, Dani, tell us a little bit about yourself. But for those of you that are really curious about what she is doing in our industry, I also want you to go ahead and share your Instagram handle up front as well. That way, if somebody is tuning in via computer, then they can check on their phone, or they can just follow along from the very beginning. So Dani, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Danielle, but I go by Dani. It's perfectly fine. And I have been doing art really all of my life. I like to say that I picked up a drawing utensil before I picked up anything else, and I just got to town. I'm currently a senior in college. I attend the University of Delaware and will be graduating in May with my degree in fine arts. So I've been taking all of that background and applying it to my embroidery business, which I started in 2022. So from there, I've really just been trying to figure out different ways to combine HTV, for example, like we're going to talk about today, and embroidery and all of my art and design background all in one.
Dani, so you guys, we talked just briefly right before we started going, and I told Dani that she should be so stinking proud of herself because she is in college. She's finishing up. Her business is 2 years old, and go check out her Instagram profile. I don't even know what to call it. Her platform. You have 65,000 followers.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Almost 66. I think, no, 66 now. Yeah, I just touched 66, I think, yesterday night. So
but before we dive in, she has created a brand. She stays true to herself in decoration. I feel like you can look at her designs and know that it comes from Dani. And let me tell you, the way this conversation really started was a week before Impressions Long Beach. I had this video pop up on Instagram and I was intrigued. The colors were beautiful. The designs were beautiful. I love mixed media. For those of you that follow along with me or watch on YouTube, have talked to me in person, you guys know I rant and rave about mixing media and creating really unique designs. You guys, this video I saw was her creating sleeve designs, a front design, It was purple, purple glitter flake with purple embroidery. And I just thought it was absolutely beautiful and followed her immediately. Fast forward a couple of days to Impressions Long Beach, and I had 3 or 4 people come up to me with that exact same video asking me what she was using and how she was doing it. And one, that's a huge, huge testament to the power of social media. Two, it's a huge testament to really being true to who you are as a decorator and finding a specific niche, and being vulnerable and putting your content, putting your business out there. Now, her designs and her creations warrant a premium, and major kudos to staying true to that in yourself and knowing what your products and what your business is worth. Because I know in our Heat Press for Profit community, there's always talks on what should I charge? What should I offer? And, every design, every project is going to be a little different, but I just needed to make sure that Danny knew the power that she kind of had, with her account and with her designs. And I think that is always so important to make sure that we are telling our community, our decorators, our friends in this industry, that they are doing phenomenal and just keep pushing forward. So I just needed to make sure that I got that out there, because I
Thank
can't
you.
hug her. I can't shake her hand in person.
Virtual hug for sure. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
hugging you right now. And so
Yes.
I love it. Okay. So if you guys have any questions for Danny during our conversation, please pop them in below. And for those of you that are listening to the podcast after it has been live, I will make sure that I read those questions out and that we can, go through those topics and questions and get them answered. So Danny, let's dive in. You
Yes.
are I don't want to get it wrong. It's an arts major. What is your major again?
Fine arts. Yes,
Fine
you got
art.
it correct. Yep.
So how did you get into one embroidery, and then we'll kind of go from there?
Yes. So really, honestly, just how I'm showing people now, that's exactly how I got into it. I was scrolling on TikTok and I kept seeing videos pop up of embroidery machines. At the time, I had no idea what kind of machinery it was or really what they were doing or what anything was called, but I knew that I was fascinated. So after doing more research, it just struck me that they were doing embroidery. It's an embroidery machine, and there's a whole community. There's all types of different machinery, and I dove right in. So from there, I just started to experiment and see what I can do. So if it's just kind of kept going from that, from just, like I said, scrolling from what a lot of people do now, watching videos, listening to podcasts, it just intrigued me. Yeah.
So embroidery can kind of be its own little beast. It's different than heat transfer. You've got to understand threads, stitching,
Yes.
digitizing, and really alignment in terms of hooping, right? There's just
Right.
there can be so much involved into it. How long did it really take you to get comfortable with
Mhm.
one, either experimenting or just understanding what in the world you were doing?
Well, I can honestly say that I'm never truly comfortable because I'm always pushing myself. Every order, I take a big deep breath because you never know what you're going to encounter that day. You don't, different designs might have different problems or successes. So it it's a learning process for me every day. I am comfortable doing more so things now than I was when I first started, but I still say I'm a beginner in a lot of areas because there's so much to learn with embroidery and I can always get better. Every time I do something, I look at it and say, well, how can I make this better for the next time? Or even if it's something as small as placement, I want that a half inch lower, or I want this, 2 times bigger. So it really, honestly, every day, I'm not ever probably truly going to be comfortable because I'm always trying to go to the next thing or, what's going to make me uncomfortable so that I get a success. Everything that I post that's either went viral or has gotten a lot of acclaim or just comments is something that I was so nervous about doing. And it doesn't probably come off like, oh, she's nervous. Like I know it doesn't, but I really be like, oh my gosh, please come out right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's just something about being so real and honest as well. And I know social media has in the past kind of had this like perfection mentality.
Mhm.
But I think it's great to know that there are people that are having success, right? And
Yeah.
taking steps every single day to do
Yeah.
and learn something different, but then at the same time you're still nervous about it, right? Like
Yes.
that's all about
Yes.
learning and staying up to date. So we see how you got into embroidery. You were intrigued, and with all the things that you can do with embroidery, how did you get into incorporating HTV? And for those of you that are a little unfamiliar with what she is doing, is what's called ripaway applique. And she is incorporating both embroidery and HTV in her design. So tell us a little bit, go down that path.
Yes. So honestly, I feel like I'm always getting a lot of success on things that I truly just do. I don't have a plan. I don't think about it. I had ordered some HTV back in October. So this was like 2 months before I even came out with my first HTV embroidery sweatshirt. And I saw it sitting on the floor in a bag, a bunch of glitter. And I was like, I need to use this. It's just sitting here, and why not? So with me, and I always try to make a sample for someone because one, it will be displayed. They're going to show it off. I don't like to make samples and they just sit here and I post them because it doesn't go out into the real world. It's not being displayed on a body type or anything. So I always close to home, my mom. So I made a mom glitter sweatshirt and I used just some extra HTV that I had laying around.
Was that the
And I
black?
put yes, and I put that black on black, yes. And you know what's crazy about that is I was so upset that I only had black, like really to pair it with. I had black. It was for Halloween originally, black, orange, white, and some other like a green color because it was going to be Halloween themed. And I was like, oh, I don't like any of those but the black. And then it blew up. And I was like, what? Y'all really like this? Okay. And then from there, I'm like, if you guys like the HTV, in this black, there's so many colors. And then I can pair it with so many designs. Like it was the most simple, basic design and just built upon that.
That's so funny. So, the one thing you didn't like
Mhm.
was what kind of helped
Yes.
jumpstart the
Yes.
whole thing. Isn't that
Yeah.
funny? Like, it's
Yes.
just crazy. I saw the
It's
black one, I was like,
crazy.
"Oh, I love that." I am not so much a glitter girl, but I like dimension and I like metallic, but I saw that black on black and was like, "I need that." That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah, because the black on black doesn't automatically, I feel like, give glitter in your face. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like a shine, there's something on that
Mhm.
sweatshirt, there's something that is giving that texture, but it's not too in your face.
Yeah. So, how would you describe the type of products that you put out there? Because I do feel like you have a specific niche.
Mhm.
And the way you do your designs, the placements, they all speak to your creativity, but they're also very, I don't want to say template like it's a bad thing, but that's one of
Right.
the things that I love. Because if
Yes.
you were doing a sleeve print and let's say you do 3 designs slightly above the wrist, that gives the ability for the customer to go in, okay, I know I can put 3 things there. What 3 things do I want? It's still custom, but it makes it easier for you on the production side. So,
Yeah.
how did you get into kind of this? Like, I've seen split faced sweatshirts. Like, I don't know what I call it, split face, but it's like the two-tone
Yes.
sweatshirts, and then big bold print, like how did we get down this path with you being such an artistic person?
Yeah, so really, I think a lot of that does come from my schooling and my training because a lot of things are very template based. And I'm very accustomed to working in sections. So, and it's also, like you said, it's easier on the production side for someone to visually know, well, this is going to fit nicely in this space. I know that, but I want you to know that so you're comfortable. I just revamped my website so that people can be more comfortable coming up with things because I want you to be a part of the design process as well. You know, it's not, it's the arts of Danny, but it's ultimately custom to the client. So with the split tones and the big bold font, I always just love something, like I said, that is so unique and different. And I always think about things in an art and design perspective just because I've had to for so long. And when it comes to colors, when I do something once, I have to figure out how can I do this again, but make it better the next time. So my next whole thing was I need to change the color of the sweatshirts because one is not doing it enough for
Mm.
me. So I just went and I put two sweatshirts together. Like I said, everything art, it ends up being a happy accident because one of the first two-tone I made, I think was for the Cowboys. And I had a navy and a gray. And I was like, what would make navy and gray? You know, what comes about that? And I was like, the Dallas Cowboys. And that's really how my process goes. I think of ordinary things or teams or whatever, or what I have at that moment, because like, you know, we've mentioned I'm in college. So sometimes the funds, I might have to really just use what I have available or what I have laying around, you know, so it doesn't always have to be something so extravagant. Sorry, I know I try not to veer off topic, but I get excited talking about it.
No, see,
Yes.
this is one thing that I love about like just being live or doing, podcasts in general is
Mhm.
one, there's a lot of passion, right? That
Yeah.
starts to come from those that we talk with, and you never know what questions could come up, and
Yeah.
especially, we do this for our decorating community. I want to highlight our guests, of course, but at the same time, I really want to give as much information to those viewers and listeners that are tuning in. So, girl, if you're going to go off on a tangent, please go, because you just have no idea the conversation and the questions and the information that could really help somebody,
Yeah.
in the future, or somebody that's catching the replay. So I will
Exactly.
never stop. I will never stop you from that.
Okay.
So here's my question. The sweatshirts that
Mhm.
are two colors, are you
Mhm.
cutting those and sewing those together to create one?
Yes, so I am just hand cutting them and I'm taking a heavy duty serger and serging them together, which was a new thing for me as well. I just started to serge things together. So everything is like I said, a learning process, and it's super simple. It's not as complicated as I even made it seem, but that's exactly what I'm doing.
No, that's one thing that I have noticed that's kind of missing in our apparel decoration world.
Mhm.
In the fashion industry, it's out there, whether you are doing, imports, or you can
Mhm.
find a manufacturer that is going to have it to where you can purchase them in packs. But in terms of the decoration world, you don't find two-tone pieces, split front two-tone pieces, which has actually been pretty popular, especially with streetwear over the last
Yes.
couple of years. But we don't
Yep.
see that on the blank side of the world. So
No.
not only are you giving customization in designs, but you are also giving customization in the actual garment itself. Now,
Exactly.
because you kind of found this niche, it really allows you to create a luxury product. So let's talk about price, because when
Mhm.
you are doing such custom pieces like this,
Mhm.
getting into custom blanks,
Mhm.
um, it warrants a premium price.
It
So
does.
tell our viewers, our listeners, how did you really accept that you were, one, needing to require a premium? What is luxury to you? And how do your customers handle knowing, this is custom and you're going to pay for it?
Yeah. So honestly, till this day, I still struggle with pricing. I feel like that's always something that creators, decorators, designers struggle with, because for me personally, I do want the average person to be able to buy my work, because like I have things that I would like to buy, and I'm like, okay, that's catered to a certain audience.
Yep.
But really, honestly, the way I look at it, as you're not just paying for the garment, you're paying for the 20 plus years of experience that I have garnered and I have been working towards to get you this. I've been really preparing for a business, I would say, my whole life. I didn't know it, but I've been doing art and doing all kinds of designing since I was young. So you're paying for expertise and knowledge, and you're also paying for high quality materials. I make sure that things are going to hold up. And I always say, once you get it, you're going to have it forever. Embroidery is permanent. It's long lasting, so you're paying for high quality materials. And you also too just have to know what your worth is. Like, so simply put, I know that's kind of, I feel like sometimes like oversaid, but it's really just so true. Like, you just have to know your worth. If you know that you produce a high quality garment, if you know that it is to the standards of some of the most reputable brands out here, which I could honestly put a lot of my work next to other brands and be like, well, it's the same or maybe even higher quality for some things. And also too, I factor in the fact that it's just me. I'm not working out of a big warehouse with 20 machines going. That would then decrease price because I'm able to get it to you faster and it's taking less time. But it's just me and a machine. I have two machines, but one that I use for most of my designs. So that's how I calculate price. And it's also, like I said, I let anything you want. My whole thing is, you can get anything you want, like as long as it's, respectful, and it's something that like we can manufacture onto the garment. It's going to fit right, and the materials are going to work. I'll let you do whatever you want as long as I can do it. So yeah, I feel like if you're going to give an experience also, I provide a scrunchie, and I'm looking for other things to kind of incorporate in the packaging. My packaging is very secure. I double package it. So there's a mailer, then it's like secured inside of a clear mailer inside of there, stickers, so yeah, I try to just make it from the time you order, actually, from the time you get onto my website until the time you put that sweatshirt on and walk out the house. I want you to feel like this was like a custom luxury experience. Not saying that I'm not going to have hiccups, obviously, because I'm still, I would say, a small business. I'm, rising, but I want that. When you go to a nice restaurant and they give you like a warm rag for your hands, and there's like, I didn't think about that, how
Yeah.
that amplifies your experience. I'm always thinking about how I can amplify that in my business. And I feel like that is what warrants a premium, because I'm not embroidering and just sending it on its way. It's very well taken care of from the time it starts till the time it goes to you.
I think that one thing we forget. So first, you said you feel like something that's said kind of over and over again
Mhm.
is knowing your worth.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like that can be said enough, because
Yeah.
in our world, there's always going to be somebody that's going to do it cheaper.
Mhm.
There's always
Always.
going to be somebody that is going to attempt to copy you or do something
Exactly.
very similar. Um,
Exactly.
and then there's always going to be somebody that is going to try to do it cheaper
Yep.
and still warrant the same cost,
Yep.
or still, require the same cost. So I think the more we can tell ourselves, you got to know your worth, because
Yes.
if you are the brains and you're coming up with this
Yes.
whole idea of, if you can think it, I'm going to do my best to create it within reason, and then know that they're going to get that warm towel experience from the minute they on your
Exactly.
website
Yes.
to
Yes.
receiving the product. Those are all little things that not everybody is going to offer, but also
No.
not every customer is going to go, I don't care about that. Is going to say, I
Right.
don't really care about that stuff. And
Right.
you know what? That's okay, because you're
That's
going to
okay.
stay true to you.
And
So,
that's perfectly fine. Yep. That's
yeah.
honestly something that I'm dealing with kind of now is saying, well, because my designs now are in a really, I feel, big spotlight. And of
Mhm.
course, I have, people who are inspired and who have done the same kind of design, same placement and things. But I just always try to say to myself and to other people going through the same things that it's not you. Like, no one can crawl into your head and take out what you are doing, even if they find the same exact fonts or the same exact whatever.
Love that.
That's yeah, your brain is your brain, and you're always going to be on to the next thing. So exactly.
You have had so many wonderfully witty statements, and
Thank
I
you.
hope you know that you have a lot of wisdom within yourself, and
Thank you. I like
just
to
the
hear
way
that.
you are kind of looking at everything. I think
Yeah.
there should be more sprinkles of Danny around everywhere. So I really
Thank
do hope
you.
that, and I'm genuinely saying that. I really hope that you are aware of who you are, because don't change.
Oh, thank you so much. No, that really means a lot. Yeah.
Um,
I'm trying not to fangirl. I'm keeping it cool. You know what I'm saying? But this whole week, I was like, I'm going to be on a podcast at school. So, yeah.
love
Yeah.
it.
So
So
thank you so much.
my gosh, yes. So Michelle said, good for you, congratulations. I just want to share
Thank
with
you,
some of
Michelle.
the viewers. Brandy, good morning to you as well. Tiffany said, love your IG, Danny. You make such cute stuff. Love from South Jersey, sis. um,
Thank you, Tiffany.
and for those of you that are catching the replay or listening to it on the podcast, such is in all capital letters. So such is very much emphasized. Now let's see. There was also Matthew Hinterlang. Sorry, I'm gonna hear about that later. Why follow trends when you can set them? That's something that you had said, and I think that really also aligns with also what you said in staying true to who you are and
Exactly.
knowing your worth. Several comments about loving your videos and your content. And then this one was from Instagram that said, being authentic is the best way forward for those wanting to start a small business in printing or clothing brand. And
Yeah.
I think that's so true. It may not be one of those things where it's just running from the minute you start it, but
Mhm.
time will come.
Yeah.
So what's worked, what hasn't worked with the experience of social media, and kind of mentioning how things have kind of transpired since you did that initial mom with the
Mhm.
black glitter. What have you found that just isn't worth your time from a
Mhm.
decoration standpoint? And then how has social media really just helped you?
Yeah. So, what really has worked in terms of social media is being consistent. It is a lot. People only really get to see 30 to 60, sometimes more of a video, but it is so much that goes into it. And for a long time, I would say, well, if I just post once a week or once every 2 weeks, like that's enough. It's not. And I hate to say it's so like that, but it really is not. You have to be consistent. You have to keep posting, and you cannot care too much about views and comments and likes to an extent, because it's going to reach who it's going to reach. Some of my videos I expect to go through the moon, and they kind of just fizzle, and it's like that was it, that was kind of didn't catch on. Some videos go major viral, and I was like, oh, that was just for fun. So you just have to keep consistent and keep at it. I found that is honestly what has gotten me to where I am present day, because there was a point where I was just every day, just cranking out videos, cranking out photos, and the algorithm will reward you if you are continuously posting. It will notice. We live in 2024 where technology is just the thing. So everything counts. Post, engage, use hashtags. That's definitely what helps. And what I try to say is just do it. Post, make things, even if you don't like them, post it. Someone else is going to like it. You never know. What has not worked In terms of social media, I would say is, well, yeah, following trends. There was a point where I would see what was going on and I would try to make someone else's style my style. And it wasn't working because it wasn't me. And all I was thinking about is the sale. And you know what I'm saying? It wasn't authentic in the fact that I was putting out something that I was so passionate about that I would wear. It was something that I figured, well, it's going to make some money or it's going to go viral. But again, my head wasn't in the right space. And I feel like that kind of came off in the work.
Mm.
So what hasn't worked and what I don't advise is to follow trends. You can follow trends to an extent of material, but figure out how to use that in a completely different way. That's what I do because, of course, I'm inspired by people, and nothing that I do is the first time it's ever been done. Glitter HTV has been around for a long, long time. Yeah. But the way I think that is too what draws people to what I do is that I'm taking something that is so standard in the community and I'm always trying to figure out how can I make this something that you have never seen before or you didn't even think you could be used in that way.
Mhm.
So definitely those two things are what works and hasn't worked. And in terms of you had mentioned social media, how it's propelled since my mom's sweatshirt. Oh, I mean, how long do we have? So yeah, I mean, today is the 16th of February. Since I've posted that, I've gained 55,000 followers
Mhm.
on Instagram. Before that, I had 5,000 and I was okay with five. I was like, oh, 5,000, look at me, getting somewhere. And
Yep.
then yeah, a couple of days after that, it was 10,000. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then later, around Christmas as well, obviously Christmas,
Sure.
that really helped because people are like gifts. Oh, wow, this is a really good gift. Or I'm going to look at her for something else coming. So that was a really good marketing, that kind of just a happy accident when I posted it was late November. And January, yeah, just 20, 30, 40. I would just wake up and just have 10,000 more followers. So it's been crazy. I'm from a very small town and sometimes my mind really can't conceptualize 66,000 people following me. And I have also on TikTok, I have 85, something like that,
Mm.
thousand followers. Yeah. So it's just been amazing. I have 500 emails to get, and it's only me. So yeah, everything has been, like I said, for lack of a better term, just wonderful. And two, as an artist, because I'm a business owner, but I'm an artist. So everything to me is like what I've been dreaming of from a very little girl. So I never look at it as work. I never really look at it as truly like they're orders, but it's so much more than that. It's just artwork. It's just been wonderful, and especially to now feel very validated in school, to be able to bring a lot of things back to my professors, because that's all we're all striving to do after we graduate, is have a successful art something, whether it's career, business. So it really just helps me kind of sleep at night that I'm doing what I love to do and I'm being successful at it. Yeah. And at a young age as well, because I just want to keep doing it.
What does Danny want next? Where do you see the next 6 months, right? Where do you
Mhm.
see the next year? What would you really like to see for your business? And um, how has it really grown? Like, what are you already planning for?
Yeah. So I graduate in May, which is I can't wait because I plan to do the Arts of Danny full time. I try to do it as much as I can, but with my schooling and things, I'm not able to be at my machine as often as I would like. So honestly, just continuing to develop the business. I want to introduce, as you can you can see, it's called the Arts of Danny. So it opens it up. I did that on purpose because I do so many things. I draw, I paint, I do digital work, I embroider. I eventually want to get into airbrushing and combining airbrushing with embroidery, painting with embroidery. I could paint a jean jacket and then embroider it and have it. So like you said, mixed media. I love mixed media. I love playing with various, functions and designs, and I have the background in it. So I want to be able to apply my degree and do more things that, are tactile and also keep that a part of the business as well. More machinery. Right now I have one 10 needle machine, so definitely need to get more machinery so I can speed up production. I know a lot of people want things for like special events, and I can't get certain things out by certain dates, so definitely to speed up production. And it would be cool to really see maybe the Arts of Danny, certain designs in boutiques. I've gotten some inquiries about that.
Sure.
So yeah, definitely. Oh, and I didn't even mention my whole kind of long-term goal is to get my designs or get licensed by the NFL. That is, that is kind of like my main thing. I totally didn't even think about mentioning it, but yeah, because I've been doing some NFL related designs, and I feel like women should be able to have trendy sports gear too. Women love sports and they rep their teams just as hard as their male counterparts. So I feel like glitter and bling and all that should be incorporated. And so that's what I'm working on, is getting my stuff out there to girlfriends of team players and wives and just, different coaches, and be like, can you wear this? Or do you want to wear it? I'm going to send it,
Yes,
and
yeah.
seeing what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so awesome. I'm really, really excited to see, how everything kind of transforms for you over the next couple of years. I mean, I know the
Thank
next 6
you.
months is going to be pretty crazy for you, especially with graduating and then being
Yeah.
able to run. We talked a little bit about this. I didn't want to call it a side hustle because it's so much more than that, but it's definitely not something that you're able to give full-time effort to, but mentally, I'm sure you are there full time, eat, sleep,
Yes.
drink, play,
Yes.
work, school, art to Danny. No
Yeah.
matter what, it's
Yes.
always in there.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
so we can wrap up. I know we could talk for hours.
Yeah.
What is something you would say to somebody that is either doubting maybe their worth and what they should charge for their product, but also
Mhm.
staying true to who they are as a
Mhm.
decorator?
My main thing I would say is keep going and don't stop. Keep going and don't stop, because there was a point in time about a year and a half ago where I didn't even know if I was going to continue to do embroidery at all. I was not doing very well mentally. I had 0 orders. I was not posting, and I just didn't know if this was going to be something that was going to sustain me long term. I had to have a job, and it wasn't bringing in anything at the time. So if I had stopped, none of this podcast with you, Kelly, none of this would have happened. Yeah. So you have to keep going, and you have to, if you're doubting just how to, keep true to yourself and find your niche, I would journal, I would draw, I would see what really lies within inside you first. Because if you don't know how you feel and what you want your products to convey, it's not going to resonate. It's not going to come across. And I feel like that's just the whole overarching theme of having a successful anything, is you want some authenticity, some of you to come across in the work. So just get in touch with you, whatever that is, whatever your thing outside of, because art is my thing in business and in personal. So it's kind of easy to,
Mhm.
combine the two. But whatever it is, if it's sports, see how you can, incorporate sports. If it's exercise, or if it's baking, you can do embroidery or apparel decorating and combine certain elements, or, so just really doing what works for you and being confident in it, and not letting anybody tell you you can't do it, because you can. Anything that anyone has ever said to me, like, oh, I don't think that's going to work, or I don't think you can do that, I did. And so, yeah, don't let the haters get to you. That's, the basics.
Yeah, don't let the haters get to you. That should be
Don't let the haters get to you.
like
Yeah.
a hashtag. So before I ask you one other question, Michelle also said you're an impressive, authentic, passionate young lady. I wish the absolute best success with all of your arts. And
Thank
then you
you
had a
for
wonderful
sharing.
mixed media is also awesome
It
hashtag.
is. Yes, it is.
So for the wrap up here, tell everybody what your Instagram handle is, what your TikTok handle is, how they can find you, your website. I love being able to connect people in our industry, and sometimes you just need a little bit of support, or you want to see, like, you know what, I just need to be reminded that what I'm doing is moving forward. So
Yes.
share with everyone how they can follow along, how they can reach out, order questions, all of that.
Yes. Absolutely. So all of my handles for everything are the Arts of Danny. So everything Instagram at the Arts of Danny, TikTok at the Arts of Danny. My website is theartsofdanny.com and my email is taodcontact@gmail.com. Not to be confused with TOAD, toad. So TA, yes, some people do. They email me and they're like, oh, I didn't get a response. I'm like, oh, I put toad. So yes, taodcontact@gmail.com. You can email me. Like I said, I have a lot of emails, but I do try to get back to people. I also have a lot of resources already, though. On my actual Instagram page, I have videos of machinery. I have an Amazon storefront. So I don't know the exact link, but that is linked on my Instagram and TikTok pages. I have a free shipping code. Yes, for Mighty Hoops. Those are the hoops I use to get the designs that I'm showing. Use code Danny, DANI at hoopmastermightyhoop.com to get free shipping on your Mighty Hoops. So I just want a little shameless plug there on the Mighty
Do it.
because they're amazing. I love them. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's how you can, and everything is, like I said, packaged in a bow on all of my socials. So
I love it. Okay.
thank
Well, everyone tuning in, if you're not already following our podcast, make sure you follow the Heat Press for Profit podcast on whatever platform you stream these podcasts. If you are looking to join the heat printing community, go to the Heat Press for Profit Facebook group. Join in there. There are like minded individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs, those that are just getting started in the industry, and then, of course, those that have been doing it for decades. So it's a great community resource tool to just ask questions and see what's going on. So for those of you that tuned in live, thank you so much. You
thank
can
you.
find us next Friday. And Danny, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I know we'll be talking soon.
Yes, Kelly. Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
You're so welcome. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.